Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Palm Sunday weekend. Happy recovery from March Madness. Happy all that kind of fun. Happy first Monday in spring, maybe? I don't give a fuck. Good morning, Bobby. How are you?
I'm good, man. I need that recovery you were talking about. I don't know if it was March Madness or Palm Sunday or what, but boy, I am dead going into this week.
Dead, like, isn't just exhausted, tired, or like just to life? Like, I hate life.
You know what? Why choose? Why can't it be all?
Okay. You know what? I'm happy that it's not Palm Madness for anybody. If you have Palm Madness right now, go home. Get away from us. Stop watching. You're winning the game. If you have Palm Madness right now, you are scoring points on people like crazy. Maybe that's what we should call it. Every year in March, we should have Palm Madness where we rank all our people to say who's the best at winning the game. And then have
Oh,
this.
okay.
And
Yeah,
by the way,
yeah.
and calling it seeds is gross.
Seeding is even grosser.
I was explaining that to my girlfriend this weekend. She's like, we were watching some because Yale was playing. So I'm like, oh, I want to see if I knew they had no chance, but there was a small opportunity for Connecticut people to have Yale versus UConn if Yale could have pulled off last night in like Sweet 16, which would be nuts, but they weren't gonna. And I'm like, well, they're a 13 seed. She goes, why are they calling themselves? I go, what? She goes, why are they seeds? And I started to think about like, I guess it would be like a seeding, like SEAT, but and it probably was that, but I think because of just grammar, it just became seeds. But it probably is seed originally because you're not planting a seed.
No, I don't think it was seeding though. I think it
Well,
had to
because like
do with you like,
you're seeded 12th. You're seeded. I mean, maybe not, but it makes more sense than seeds. Seeds is
but I think
gross.
no, you time it up. Like you grow the plants that grow in the fall with the plants that grow in the spring, like in the same bed, and then you like it's has to do with growth period.
I like that. It's the only thing she goes. Is anything dumber than that? I'm like, oh yeah, if someone's not a good team, they're a Cinderella story. She's like, what is happening? Like, I don't know. It's all just been accepted, but it is weird.
Well, you got to keep dancing. I mean, the ball's
Without a
not over.
shoe. So,
Yeah, because they can't afford them like the good schools.
but yeah, Connecticut, UConn is moving on into this week. They've been crushing people. And speaking of moving on through Connecticut, friend of the show, hasn't been on the morning show yet, but friend of the show, Andrew Glessner, I guess was driving through Connecticut, messaged me last night and goes, "Hey man, I had to drive through Connecticut from leaving a wedding, I think in Massachusetts. I'm not sure if you're aware how bad the Merritt Parkway is, but that sucks. What the fuck?" It's like there's monsters on there. I was like, yeah, it's the worst thing ever. So good morning to Andrew and his wife for driving through New England, checking out all our shitty roads, and becoming a hack comic by making jokes about highways.
I mean, why do you ever think about this? Why do you park on your driveway, Pat, and why do you drive on your parkway?
You ever
Hmm?
think about how I don't have a license, Bobby, and that's insensitive?
Hey, Pat, you ever think about how you don't drive anywhere? You,
And
and
why did
specifically, are legally not allowed to drive anymore.
it's like, hey, Pat, why did the chicken cross the road? I don't know, maybe because for some reason he lost his license, even though he shouldn't have, and it was wrongly, and he couldn't fucking convince the DMV otherwise. Maybe that's the reason why.
Maybe, or maybe he's just lazy.
Hey, maybe. Did you have any shows this weekend?
Oh, I sure did, buddy. I did
Ooh.
a winery on Friday, and just hell on earth. Like I wish
Is that a
somebody would
Jewish
have.
festival?
No, but I wish it would have ended like a Jewish music festival.
I'm cold. This is a winery. I want soup. Stop whining. It's a winery.
And then Saturday I was at the Allenberry Theater, which was fun.
Ooh, how was that?
And you've done one theater, you've done them all. Come out, tell some dick jokes, go backstage, get out of there.
I I know that it's actually the town Allenbury, but I always, when you say that, think there's a man named Alan Berry, and that was his theater. Like it's me, Alan Berry. Welcome to my theater.
Honestly, dude, it was kind of like a cult. Like it felt like one of those movies where because it's like a hotel, but it's not built like a hotel. Like there are lots of cottages attached to it. Then they have like walk this way and take the go-karts to go to the spa or take these go-karts to go to the theater, but nobody really wants to help you and you're like, they're gonna try to make you stay here forever. Golf carts, not go karts.
I was gonna say go karts. I'll go there if they have go kart, golf cart, whatever. Go kart, sweet.
Like I was like, "Hey, I'm a comedian. Where's the show?" And she was like, "I think it's over there." And then like I knocked on the door, and the woman was like, "We're not open yet." And I was like, "I'm supposed to be here." She's like, "Go away." So I snuck in the back door.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you fucking did. You dirty bitch. This Saturday, I don't know if people know outside of I don't know all New England, but in Connecticut, the fucking rain on Saturday was like Noah's Ark shit. It was like flooding in areas. And of course, my son, who goes to school in Massachusetts, was playing his one rugby game in Connecticut on this Saturday in Fairfield, Connecticut at Sacred Heart University, a tournament in the morning when it was the worst. So me, my daughter, and my daughter's boyfriend, we went and watched the game and just stood in 2 hours of just torrential down, like to the point where you're standing there and it doesn't even matter what you're wearing. Your clothes, it's just what angle you want your clothes to be flooded in, and watching that.
Yeah.
And then I had a show at night, and the show at night actually was a private party for a guy's 60th birthday. Now when I got there, I knew the woman said to me it was a surprise, so I just assumed I was a surprise for the birthday guy. Like, oh, there's gonna be a comedian to make fun of you. She said it's gonna be family and friends, about 60 people. Can it be PG-13? I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. Usually with that kind of stuff, I'm not even doing material. I'm just, who are you? Oh, you look like this. Da, 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 da. And then everybody laughs because they all know that, you're right, Larry does look like a rapist, whatever. Hooray! And they all cheer. But when I got there and the woman found me, I was just standing there and Dion came with me. She comes over, she goes, oh, Pat? I go, yeah, nice to meet you. And she's like, yeah, so just me and my husband know. And I'm like, wait, what? She goes, yeah. No one here of the 60 people know there's going to be comedy. But just me and my husband, he knows there's going to be a comic. So we're going to have you go up like any minute now. And I'm like, and I look around and there are, out of the 60 people, at least 15 of them are under the age of 8. So I'm like, and they're getting ready to bring me up. And the DJ is playing songs from the movie Trolls. Like, I can't stop that feeling. Like that. So all the kids are like fucking going. Like his 8-year-old's doing fake like spin, like back spins and shit. These little kid, tiny toddler 5-year-olds are having the time of their life, and it's now about to get shut down because a guy who looks like White Shrek's about to go up there and say shit. And I'm like, all right. So
here we go.
Like, well, I said, Dion comes with me for 2 reasons. One, to have someone to drive me there, obviously, but also with a private event, I'm really bad. When I'm not doing material, I'm really bad with time. So, like, and I don't, some shows you're like, oh, it doesn't matter. If they let me go over, whatever. But if you're getting paid to do like a private thing, it's a stickler thing with me. If you're paying me to do a certain amount of time, that means that we negotiated that amount of time. And if I do more, I want more money. And that's not, and if I don't do that and I don't negotiate that early, then I fuck myself because I said, oh, I'll only do that. They only wanted like 15 minutes. So I'm like, I don't want to go more than that, or therefore I should get more money. So I just said to him, you got to light me. Like, I mean, I'll feel it anyway, but like light me at 13, whatever. And right away, like there's this one guy who's just trying to be, and I remember they said PG-13, but now I'm G basically. Cause like there's little kids right there. And this one guy right away was trying to be like a stickler and like, be funny. He's like, I said, who are you? And he goes, well, I'm like you. I'm also not funny. And then like, so part of me wants to just like, eviscerate him, but I can't. So I made fun. I got laughs. It was fun. Everybody enjoyed it. I know they had fun because they tipped me about half the money that I would be getting anyway.
Yeah.
So they were so happy with that. They threw me gas. And one person already came up and said, hey, to hire you for something else. I'm like, I don't want to be around your family ever again. But I was kidding. Like, they were fine. But if you're on my social media, you can see pictures. Dion took a picture, and it looks, as a friend of the show, Matt Mead,
put up.
He said it looks like Tiananmen Square. I'm standing up like this, and in front is this tiny little girl, like maybe 4 or 5 years old. Now, at the angle of that picture, it looks like her and I are facing off. When I was standing up there, she was actually standing kind of behind one of those round tables. I did not see her there. So it's so funny in that picture. It looks like she's just standing like, what the heck, like stopping the tank. But there was a kid. He looked like Joe Dirt kind of. There's like a little, like redneck type area in Connecticut. Yeah, but also this one area is even known for that kind of thing. It's a smaller spot. This one kid, he was like 4 or 5 years old, blonde hair, and he would every time adults laughed, he would laugh, but his laugh was like a second off in like the heartiest child laugh ever. So I said a joke, you hear ha, ha, and he go ha 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 ha, ha, like, which was I turned, I go, you're great. All of a sudden he just clammed up when he realized I was talking to him. And I was like, so, but it went fine. It was fun, but it was wild. But then I put up pictures of that, of course, to be like, hey, this is surprising. Now, and everyone's like, here's the part I got bothered by. And this will be, before we get our guest in, a quick piece of shit story. So I put that up there and I say this is fun. I put the pictures up, and everyone right away is like, oh, I bet you that kid learned new words. Oh, I hope you didn't destroy that child too. Everyone's saying all this stuff. And I'm like, and I look at it, and most of the people that are commenting, they even are being silly and fun. They're not being mean. They're just like, oh, I mean, were you even able to say anything? You're always so crazy and dirty or whatever. They're mostly people that got to know me by when I used to go on Chaz and AJ in the morning on radio, where I've never sworn once. So I even wrote anything like, they're like, well, can you work clean? I go, I literally, on the thing you know me from, am clean all the time. I'm that good at it and funny at it that you think I'm being dirty. And I'm not. And I'm just being on there and being edgy. So yeah, I can do that. And then someone else is like, what do you do? A different act? I go, well, do you like talk to police officers the same way you do criminals? Or are you a human being who can adjust your life? Yeah, it's not hard. It was funny that one or two people started arguing with me about it, and then would DM me and go, oh, can you do my company's like picnic? I'm like, were you just yelling at me? Like, well, I was just trying to see if you could do it. And then right away I'd be like, by the way, I'm also fancy myself a comedian. I hate when they say, fucking fancy yourself off a cliff. Don't fancy yourself shit. I am a comedian. You're not a comedian. So you're asking questions like, well, I wouldn't know in that situation. Well, you wouldn't be in that situation. I get hired on private gigs because I can just be funny at any fucking time. Even a bumpkin family reunion, whatever the fuck it was. And then I actually left that 60th party to go with my girlfriend to her friend's 60th birthday. So I went to two 60th fucking birthday parties. One paid for, one not, on Saturday after standing in the Noah's Ark rain. So Sunday, like Jesus, I rested.
Which party was more fun? Which party was more fun?
What do you consider fun? Money or weed?
You know what? It's too early to answer questions like that, Pat. I'm going to say the piece of shit in the story is the young kid.
Because one party had ample amounts of weed and one party paid me money. So it's like, whatever one you float your boat. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, why choose this early? Do both like you did. You get weed. I would have done the opposite order. Get high and then go do the kids' party.
Well, the piece of shit in the story is me. Because I posted this picture thinking people wouldn't be morons on the internet. I posted it where I thought people would go, oh, that is funny. It's a funny picture. Like one person did say to me, like, dude, that's an album cover. Like, you know what I mean? Like the little kid staring at me on a thing. Like I had one like that for my first one where a guy was eating a sandwich facing the other way as I was performing on my first album. It's like pictures like that are fun, but everyone else right away just starting to be like comedy critique and all that. And I should say they're the piece of shit because they're not comedians and they're saying all this, or they're just trying to get likes, or, oh, Pat, did you fucking be mean to that child? Like, why would I be mean to the child? I was paid to do a job. Like, I think people don't get that sometimes too. So people are like, oh, you go to a thing like that, are you just drunk? It's like, well, A, I don't drink. And B, I'm at work. Like, I'm being paid to go there. And I got paid more money than a lot of people make during their day for 15 fucking minutes, so fuck you. But like, you know, it's like, of course I'm going to take it professionally and I want to get more gigs out of it. Like when you do the private things, people, it's all reference and stuff. So it's like, it's more fun for me to do that except for the anxiety at the very beginning. But the piece of shit is me for thinking that people could just enjoy a picture and see that. But that's why it's funny that the guy we think of as the worst man ever, Matt Mead, with the way he usually thinks and says things, wrote the funniest, nicest. It wasn't like an insult. It was just like, hey, it looks like two things that are trying to protest each other. It's like,
for me, it's still that little girl. Like there's a man performing. You should probably know just to sit down and be quiet.
I think the problem is because the DJ was also a man, but he had like a long gray ponytail and he was the one providing the hits, all the kids bops you need. They're probably like, wait, why is this guy now ruining dance party? Because I even said that, I go, I promise you guys in 15 minutes you'll get your dancing back. I see a little kid look at his mom like, what's 15 minutes? Like, in other words, not understanding time, but needing to know it needs to end very soon.
That's crazy. Also,
Yeah,
like,
it was
it's
nuts.
so early that the kids aren't asleep. You would think if they're doing it that way, like, wait till the kids are all tuckered out.
Well, I mean, this was the guy who has like 9 siblings, and then so they all have kids. So he's got so many nieces and nephews, and so at 60 people, literally 50 of them were all related. So they just rented out a part of a restaurant, which was a nice place, and that whole wing of it was theirs. So they've been there since like 6, and I appreciate what they did too. Like I was supposed to go on from 8 to 8:15, but when I got there and they saw that like there was a lull for a second, the lady goes, it was 7:45. She goes, do you just want to do it now? And I'm like, yeah, as soon as you think people are ready, let's just, why wait and go even farther? And making sure the kids wouldn't get more upset they got later. So like they were awesome and it was great and the crowd did enjoy it and people were thanking me after. But it was nice to, what was real nice is that fucking like one night stand feeling that like the hit it and quit it. 15, I
Oh
don't usually
yeah,
do 15 minutes and leave. That was kind of fucking crazy. And
that
I
would
didn't
be
bring.
my
I was
ideal
supposed to
night.
bring a. I was supposed to be the one who provided the equipment, but I didn't realize they had a DJ. And the DJ's like, "Well, I've got a mic, so it wasn't as good, but I used his." And it was through a. It was through a service that they found me, so therefore, I didn't have to like, get money because it was already being sent to me. So there was no waiting after. So it was done. It's just like get in the fucking car and go. Like you went up, performed, fucking scooted out.
That's sick. That's the
Yeah, so that part
ideal.
was good. Yeah,
Yeah, and
it doesn't
usually you
happen
can make
often.
more money than you would at like a club for the weekend, so that's fun.
Yeah, I mean not for like a whole week, but for like per show thing. Yeah, for definitely for that
Yeah,
amount of. If you're basing it on time, I made 4 times as much as a person that would be hosting or doing 15 minutes on one show, as opposed to me not even
Jesus.
doing jokes and doing whatever. So it's like, which is still, by the way, if you're not a comic, you're like, wow, that must be great. But if you're a comic, you're like, wait a minute, I know how much a host get. That's not much. Fuck you. I negotiate badly. Anyway,
Pat made $40,000 Saturday night.
That made $4 because when I host, I usually make one. Good morning, sir. Good morning, V. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, Dominic. Um, and real quick before we bring in our guest, our first repeat guest. He's like our Alec Baldwin with Saturday Night Live. It's our first repeat guest of being on there. Um, I have Charlotte the Stingray news. There's a Charlotte the Stingray update. We are been waiting over 2 months now for this, and don't worry, that thing didn't have babies yet. That's not there. The news is that Fox News, the local affiliate, not the fucking national power, the Henderson, North
And
Carolina
Coulter's
Fox
down there.
affiliate.
And Coulter's down there like, these fucking stingrays are immigrants. They snuck into the country illegally in the stingray Charlotte's body. They're taking
It's
all of my
me.
jobs.
Well, up there would be Clan Coulter. That's like there's the other woman. It's just like it's me, Clan Coulter. And man, I only like half the stingray. The white
I mean,
front is great.
like the real Ann Coulter's not far from that.
No, that really Ann Coulter and Clan Coulter would both be like stingrays is the perfect segregation. Black in the back, white in the front. Terry, he's gonna that he just said that, but yeah, he'll say it again. Alan Berry was a good time. He said it in a very cocky. Theater, like you've done one theater, you've done them all. Fucking braggadocious bitch. Anyway,
I was happy you let that slide. But no,
I
it was
let
a lot
it
of
slide
fun.
because it was cool as fuck. So I was kind of like the swag to it was so good I couldn't shit on it because you didn't do it like with this over the top thing. You kind of just said like damn yo, all right, I got you, feeling this. But
I got there.
go ahead.
No, I got there early, Terry, and got to go check out the river where the bass fishing that you told, or the trout fishing you told me was. It's a beautiful river. It was a lot of fun. The show was a good, really old audience. They did not like some of my edgier stuff, but kept them on board the whole time.
Did you throw some of them in the river? Because like the rite of passage when you're too
I
old in Allenbury, we send you up
you
the
just
river.
walk out. Yeah, you just wade out into the river.
So
So Ann
quickly with our
Coulter's
Charlotte
there
Stingray
posting
news.
Charlotte. Yeah.
Well, it's just not Coulter. It's the Fox affiliate, whatever, Fox 5 News of that area. And what they did was they said in the article I read that they were going to get the area's aquatic experts together to discuss this phenomenon of parthenogenesis and stuff like that. But then one person quickly in the article slips in, most people believe it's the parthenogenesis. And but 2 years or a year ago, there were 2 white tiger sharks that were slipped into here who maybe could somehow. And then another person right away was like, no, they don't. They don't sexually line up. Do you know who that person was who said they don't sexually line up?
Ben Ortiz.
I wish. By the way, don't even Google him. You'll be fine. Um, he's co-headlining a show somewhere. I saw.
I saw that, dude. Sorry.
Um,
Anyway, so it wasn't
yeah,
Ben. I
and-
just picture him knowing what
Right.
animals line up sexually.
It was crime boss of the aquatic scene of Henderson, North Carolina, Brenda Raymer, the woman who runs that Echo thing. In this article, it says that we spoke with several aquatic experts. All the quotes come from Brenda Raymer. No one else was allowed to speak. Brenda Raymer said the same thing she's been saying. It'll come in due time. We don't understand what the genes being split and all these things like that, but it'll get here when it gets here. Which, Bobby, more and more and more, I am believing what you said from the very beginning. This is a fucking lie. This is a farce. This is a scam. This is fucking magic potion guys showing up to your town and trying to hoodwink you, get you to invest all your money in the fucking stingray business, and then one day, cloud of smoke, there's no fucking aquarium anymore, and there's somewhere else in a different Idaho mountain town.
I can't wait till we hear about in fucking West Virginia at the surprisingly also Henderson Indoor Aquarium in Appalachia. There's another pregnant stinger. Like, she's just gonna pull this scam time and time again.
It's gonna be it.
In fact, I'm guessing her family ran this scam for like generations. Their family was just the scammer of the fake pregnant stingray, and they, with the internet, she finally got caught up to.
Yeah, it was like Rammer Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus. It's like, that's who they are. They just go around stingraying it up. So who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Fox News for saying they were going to have a bunch of aquatic experts and then only talk to one person? Is it aquatic experts for not answering the call? I'm guessing they couldn't get anybody else because everyone's like, we don't give a fuck. Is it the people that are giving the updates? Because we have joked about it, whatever, but we're getting like 2 a week supposedly, but those updates aren't updates. They're just other articles that are being put out there from other people. And I'm not sure if because it's the mountain area or not, if they know this, but you don't need to give a written update every time. You literally could just put a camera on the tank. Have it on 24 hours. You could literally charge people to have 24 access. Even if you did like $1 a week, it could be nothing and the money goes to whatever. There are people who would pay for that access to see it, for little kids to see it, whatever. Schools would probably say, or maybe don't even charge. You could just have it there. Now, then on that feed, you have somebody come on once a day, twice a day, whatever, saying, hey, look at Charlotte playing along. Hopefully they're going to have the baby soon, whatever it's going to happen. You know what I mean? And you can do it right there. And then people can write the article off that. But instead, they just keep making these like big stances and going with the business stuff. No one gives a fuck. They want to see if this thing's going to have babies. It has not had babies. Who's the piece of shit in this story?
It's Brenda.
Fucking Gestapo.
Because, well, here's my thing. So the newspaper said they interviewed all the local Fox said they interviewed all the local water life experts.
Well, they called in for all of them, but then I guess nobody came.
No, I think they all showed up. Literally, all the water life experts in Appalachia showed up. It's Brenda. She's the only one. You ever notice how in all these articles they don't have any quotes from people who just saw Charlotte? It's only people who are excited to see Charlotte or own Charlotte. It's never, we just got done seeing Charlotte and it was incredibly underwhelming.
Yeah, you're right. We've never really heard. I was just thinking of that. We've never, even when the mother, daughter, all that, they were like, we can't wait. We're excited. We drove all the way here, whatever. And then when they're talking to the coffee people, they're just like, the coffee's good. No one's like, hey, I had a coffee while talking with Charlotte, whatever, like, or hanging out in front of it. No, it's none of that.
Right. You would think like when a new amusement park ride opens, they get the people who just rode the ride as well. Like, yeah. I'm with Terry. I don't think it's real. I think it has tumors.
Oh no, it has tumors. Tumors are the worst. The piece of shit always and forever is Brenda Raymer. She has to be stopped. She has the monopoly now on fucking aquatic fucking traveling circus life. She literally I get it. She started as a mom and pop fish business and is trying to build herself up to a big thing. But I think that she is duping us. Now, I hope I can still, in 2024, have hope in humanity and sea life and hope that this is not a lie. I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd love to see these pups be born. People are happy. We find out, okay, it just takes longer to have this. Which, by the way, I think this is why a lot of women who probably heard this story at first were like, hey, I hope that's the way I get pregnant, not without a fucking man. And then they're like, oh, wait, the pregnancy takes like 2 months longer? All right, I'll deal with a fucking guy. You don't be pregnant forever. Yeah, it is big fish. You are right. It's fucking big fish holding us fucking down. Big Stingray is a piece of shit. Brenda's a piece of shit. And it was not a piece of shit, Bobby, is our guest. Comedian B. Lee is popping in again for a second time. How are you, sir?
I am doing great. I'm walking, talking, and breathing. It's a good day. But you're already lying to people because you know I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't want them to think that right away.
Oh, they've already seen me before.
I was trying to be nice with that.
I do have some fun facts for you to start. Little known fact about Clan Coulter. Her middle name is Cameron, and all 3 names are spelt with a K.
Nice.
Ooh, I like
and
that.
They did have other fish experts show up. Phil Stevenson from the local Kroger's fish department also was there.
Phil can fillet a trout like nobody's business, though. So it's like, if you know what I mean.
Definitely not a trout. But I actually did study oceanography, no lie. Did a lot of necropsies, cut open a seal when I was 12. That was fun. Anyways, sharks and stingrays from the same shit. So it could be like a Chihuahua, German
They
Shepherd.
are saying there was no sex there. And also, necropsies, I think, is the N-word of the sea. I'm not sure. But I believe that it is. That's actually, the gang. The Bloods and the Necropsies. That's the 2 gangs they have in the ocean.
You would think necropsy was the N-word of the sea, but it's actually Norwal.
Oh.
Yes. With a hard R.
Like I scared Bobby away.
Bobby was so afraid of the N-word. He canceled himself.
He's like, I'm not getting canceled in the ocean.
Strictly real N-words while I'm on cam, guys. I won't take any of these N-words of the seas.
Bobby wants to play Atlantis.
I like that Bobby's like, I'll show you what the stingray looks like right now. It's like white hair, black in the back. Thank you there. So who is the piece of shit in the story, Billy?
Oh, I think I think I'm saying like the person that wrote the article for misleading. Because it's not like the one person who, she got D's in oceanography, clearly. She got stuck in Appalachia at an aquarium that is landlocked. So she's like, hey, I'm not the best to begin with. That's not her fault. It's the person that wrote the, article and made it sound like, there was all these experts showing up to see this, tumorous stingray.
Now while you said that, I wanted to get the name of the person that wrote the article. And now that I'm now looking at one line, Bobby, can you confirm something for me real quick?
Sure.
Do you remember where we've said it every week? We've said it a million times. We've all read it. Where is this place located?
Henderson, Appalachia.
No, but not Appalachia. Henderson what?
North Carolina.
Right. So the person that wrote this is named Freeman Stoddard, by the way. So Freeman Stoddard is the name, and it says from Hendersonville, South Carolina, and that's what they say twice. So they've got this writer, not only, Billy, are you right, got the location and the state wrong. Instead of being Henderson, North Carolina, this article is coming from Hendersonville, South Carolina, which Bobby, once again, goes to your thing, smoke and mirrors, they're lying so much, they're forgetting the lies.
The stingray is going to be in Henderson, Nevada by the time this thing...
The stingray's not real, Bailey. There is no stingray. Charlotte doesn't exist. You just named it after the big city you drove by to dupe people. That's why it's called Charlotte.
The stingray's the friends we made along the way.
Aw. That's sweet, Bobby. That's our time. That's all. We're going to end on a sweet episode and do it that way. Last Friday's Carolina news. Here we go. Terry, last Friday's Carolina news, aquarium leaders discuss viral pregnant stingray in Hendersonville. Yeah, that's the same thing. It's in Henderson. I'm telling you, it's the same thing. They've now just changed the town and where it is. I have that one too. the leaders, the aquarium leaders. They're called. I said experts to be nice. They're the leaders of aquariums.
What if the town is getting so much funding from this, farce that they just had enough money to change the name? They're like, we wanted to be a Ville for so long. We'll be Hendersonville now.
But they can't change the state. They don't have that much money to now be South Carolina instead of North.
I mean, semantics.
You think they know the word semantics in the fucking mountains? No, they don't know that word.
Yeah, I'm anti-semantic.
That's how they say some antics. It's like he was crazy. He did semantics. Nuts, tomfoolery. That's my cousin, tomfoolery. So, Bobby, you got a story?
Sure. We've talked about fun, happy news. Let's get sad. There was a
nice.
terrorist attack in Moscow, and they caught the guy who they say did it. And my favorite part was the Russian counterintelligence just posting the dude they beat the shit out of all over social media. Like, it's just him in a glass cage. He's got like a giant swollen face. It looks like one of his ears is missing. And it's like, yeah, don't fuck with Russia. But here's where it gets fun. Because ISIS is claiming credit for it. But aren't they like involved in their own war right now? Like, this guy's claiming credit for it. So who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it me for doing no research into this terror attack that happened at some point throughout the weekend? Is it the guy who committed the terror attack? Now, yes, terrorism, bad always, but, we've been pretty pro-Ukraine all along. Is this where we find, enemy of an enemy is a friend? Is it ISIS for all? Yes, all four of them had very badly bruised faces. Is it ISIS for claiming credit for something clearly the Ukraine did? Is it Putin for saying the Ukraine did something clearly ISIS did? Is it terrorism for having such a lack of centralism that we don't know which group to give credit for? Pat, we'll kick it to you first.
Bobby, I didn't think I would do this as early, but the piece of shit is you. And not because you didn't do research, is because you don't believe that a powerful organization like ISIS can multitask. How fucking dare you? You think they can only focus on one thing? They're ISIS, baby. They've always got new plans going out there all the time. Now, they're not always the best plans, but they can do more than one. That's how you do people, Bobby. You throw them off a little bit. But so you get people to think you're doing one thing. Yeah, we think we're doing something over here in Exhibit A, and then boom, over here we're punching Russians. So yeah, and you gotta have faith in a powerful organization like the good people at ISIS. How dare you, Bobby, not believe in what they can do? You don't think they've got strong independent workers there who can just think outside the box a little bit? If you're a terrorist group, you can't only cut a head and put it in a box. You gotta think outside the box.
Right,
ISIS
but I'm
is a uniform away from being Cobra.
Yes, they have their own commanders. Yeah, and they have what's his name, the metal one.
Cobra Commander, I believe.
Yeah, Cobra Commander and Destro, whatever his fucking name
was.
Oh,
yeah. But aren't we fighting ISIS? And aren't we fighting
like
Russia?
You and
I? No. You and I aren't fighting much.
We're not, and if we are, we're not going to take on ISIS. We'll barely take on Steel Toe in the morning. Those pieces of shit. Fuck you. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I mean, if all of ISIS had foreheads that big, they'd be a lot easier to get your message out there. It's a billboard size B. Sorry, it's early morning. I'm still waking up. But
that's my name. No, billboard.
We're fighting ISIS. We're fighting Russia. Why is ISIS fighting Russia too?
Russia 2? The new Russia?
No, like you said, ISIS is fighting on multiple fronts.
I just thought it was a sequel. Russia 2.
You wouldn't be
more sickles.
Like, we wouldn't fight Afghanistan and then help Afghanistan bomb Iraq. You know what I mean? Like,
we might. We're trying.
Bobby doesn't do his research. We are not fighting Russia, sir. We are just heavily assisting the Ukraine in fighting Russia.
Good point. Fair. We're just giving our resources and energy. I got you.
It also sounds like you're saying we should team up with ISIS.
No, I'm saying ISIS is making it seem like we teamed up with them by attacking Russia. I don't like this. I'm confused. Bobby, I live my life by very simple rules. Hate the Muslims, hate the Russians. Now they're fighting each other. I don't know what to choose.
The ship name of UISIS for U.S. and ISIS together. We're a powerful thing. Can't be stopped. We're like Pitcom. Brad Pitt and fucking David Beckham. Pitcom.
I
We're
didn't.
like,
I didn't know where that was going.
Yeah, it's an old Daniel Tosh joke. It's like,
I think every great show has a team up episode. GI Joe and Cobra, and uh,
Mork and or Mindy.
yeah, weird one. Transformers and Decepticons. They all got to team up at some point.
okay, yeah, I can see that.
This could
Who's
be
your
our team
pieces
up episode.
of Us and ISIS? I'm on board.
Yeah.
I also like that there's rumors. So he's just sitting around like talking with his grandma. They're drinking tea, and she goes, "Have you heard the latest on the alphabet agents?" It's not rumors. It's reports.
I was down at the post office, and you wouldn't believe what I heard.
I was at the water cooler, and people were like, "You won't believe what ISIS is up to." Shenanigans, like again, ISIS. I thought I could trust you.
I like as we continue, it becomes
Bob,
more
I'll back 1 second. You guys
sitcom.
continue. Go ahead.
Like ISIS in America, the sitcom. Tonight at 8.
America's organized, but they are all over the place. ISIS plays by strict rules. It's the odd
Yeah.
couple.
We have vacuums. They live in caves.
They hate women. We exploit them on the internet. How will these two get along?
They beat their women. We pay ours to beat us.
They're very confused by feminism. We also don't like it that much, but pretend to play along.
These could go all night. This could be a long-running show. This could compete with Cheers. There's definitely
honestly,
syndication in its future.
There's so many different characters. The Palestinians show up at one point. The Israelis, you bring in Hindus. We've got lots of episodes. There's going to be a lot of, though, hey, we had some fun here on ISIS. But let's talk about the real issue. Suicide bombing is bad.
Every good sitcom has a suicide episode. I was thinking there was also going to be a lot of spin-offs, and nobody would really, be surprised if they bombed.
That's good.
8 o'clock in the morning, folks.
Yeah, we're doing our best here. Lots of spin-offs. I'm just trying to think of something else we could do with that show. Oh, there's got to be a molestation episode where we learn that no, in ISIS, that's just their culture and they're allowed.
That's just okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like, Daddy, you wouldn't believe what Ezekiel did to me, and it's like, oh, honey, it's okay. That's how they are.
For future reference, son, just get him a goat and he'll leave you alone.
I like how it turned into a little boy now.
Oh, yeah.
Now it seems like it was the American side.
Pat, the way you came in with that coffee cup, it looked like you were holding a gun when you first came through the door.
Well, I was. By the way, the headphones are still on. I heard the entire fucking thing, or this show went right away. And yet neither one of you are smart enough to go, ISIS is, straight-laced and fun. U.S. is out of control. Can they live together without killing each other? Dun, 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 dun. The Odd Couple, ladies and gentlemen. It's already a show.
I made the Odd Couple joke.
Yeah.
It was the first joke I made.
Kinda. Not, you didn't do the song.
No.
I don't know the song because I'm not an old man like you.
You worked for Anthony Cumia forever. You know every sitcom from 1943. That's all he talks about.
That's true. That is true.
By the way, just so people are tuning in, this isn't a show about pitching ideas for ISIS in the U.S. to have a sitcom. I don't know how that became the thing. The story Bobby told has nothing to do with the U.S. and ISIS working together or nothing to do with that whatsoever.
I'll have to take credit for that one.
Yeah. I'm not giving it credit. Is for good things.
Yeah, well, I mean, what is it for bad things? A charge? I'll take a charge.
Yes, like in basketball, you get a large black man running through you. You get a charge.
I was thinking court, but
And by the way, the two of you and your advice for people getting molested was awful.
Hey,
just
sorry, honey, but sometimes that just happens. What do you say?
In ISIS, that's how it be. In ISIS, that's how it be.
Yeah, you can't tell them their culture of molesting kids and fucking goats is wrong, Pat.
Yeah. In the US, our kids get stoned. In ISIS, they stone their kids.
By
Or
the way,
bone their kids.
I don't know if you've heard. Yeah, I mean, I guess you haven't heard the work of Mark Wahlberg, but here in America, we also stone people the other way. When he used to chase black people and call them the N-word and throw rocks at them, yeah, look it up, Mark Wahlberg. Anyway, he had a good time doing that. We can't go down another Mark Wahlberg rabbit hole again.
Look, that's before he was modeling underwear. He's done.
No, that was during. That was during underwear modeling. That's why he got out of it. Because when he went to jail, they're like, "This is too handsome to be in jail. Get him out of here." He literally was. He bought those rocks with modeling money.
And
Calvin Klein paid for those slurs.
I want to know in the comments how many of you, like me, just pictured Mark Wahlberg running down the streets of Boston with nothing but his underwear, throwing rocks at people.
It was me.
And how many points did you get for that?
Yeah.
Bobby, who do you think the piece of shit is in that story?
For me, it's going to be ISIS. I think ISIS is not a good group of individuals. If other people commit terror attacks, let them get credit. All right. When you guys do your thing, we give you credit. When the Russians get bombed by the Ukrainians,
the two of you in credit is hilarious.
No, I'm just saying, we're like, yo. Also, like, why did Logic and Joyner Lucas make a song called ISIS? It feels like that was kind of insensitive.
Like Shane Gillis say his name was whatever ISIS in that fucking commercial he made about,
because that was hilarious.
Cars. Yeah, I know. I'm saying because the word ISIS is hilarious.
If we let them have it, they win. You know, as an Irishman, I've seen this happen with our flag. It was stolen by the letter mafia. So now I can't even follow a rainbow to a pot of gold.
If you follow a rainbow now, you end up in Brooklyn getting molested. That's all.
Might be a bar called the Pot of Gold. That hole is going to be different.
That's the name of the bar.
Yeah.
That hole's going to be different. That's the name of the place.
I'm still waking up. I was sitting here going, wait, when did the gays take the green, white, and orange?
It's the lead in.
When you were sleeping, Bobby, when they always do their fucking shit.
It's when they
My piece of shit in this story, Bobby, my piece of shit in this story is the three of us, because we just did a great job of masking the fact that none of us know anything about what's going on in the world, because we didn't have one legitimate answer. I still don't even really know what you're talking about, because I was more concerned to see if I didn't know a college was named Grand Canyon University, but they made it out of the first round, and I was like, Grand Canyon, like who the fuck's going there? Your dad can't be proud. He's like, your kid going to school? I mean, kinda. He's going to Grand Canyon. He couldn't get into, the Eiffel Tower Tech. Where the fuck else? Grand Canyon University?
I knew they were real.
Are we doing?
I knew they were real. I just thought they were an online college.
Yeah, they are, but now they also moved on in the first round. They're going to play the University of Phoenix next. And they battled, by the way. They had a great. We're not getting into sports now, but they put up a fight. It was an awful game, but they were beating the shit out of each other.
Was it like ISIS versus Russia?
Yes, very much so.
Boom. Did you see the foreign guy who was trying to do his bracket? And it's clearly he's a comedian, but he's like, it's infuriated March. It's very angry March, because he doesn't understand what madness means.
Right. It's like
and then he had Drake playing Akon because he misread Akron.
I like this. I did see that one. That's funny. That's good. So yeah, the piece of shit is all of us for not knowing anything, Bobby. All right. You want to discuss more of ISIS, or could we move forward?
I mean, I thought this was a podcast devoted to pitching ideas for ISIS to make TV shows now, but if you want to do more, please. No, please. I don't have any more. I hit all my good ones. I was hoping you take the reins.
If you want to do nothing, but if you want to really get our views up by the wrong people, if you want to know those alphabet agents now, keep giving ideas to ISIS on our podcast. That'll help our ratings a lot.
I just like that they're keeping their terrorism to Russia. So I am pro ISIS at the moment. Russian terrorism, I'm all for it. I feel like it'll make a great movie in 10 years.
I hope some people that are very woke are watching this and going, I don't care as much about ISIS thing. How come there's not a woman on it? Oh, so it's not the viewpoint. It's just who's saying it.
We're back to the
black lesbian trans lady it loves ISIS, then I'm on board. But that BLE guy, fuck him. It's fine. It doesn't matter. All
What
right,
they don't
Bobby,
know is
speak.
I identify as a black lesbian trans woman.
They do
And
now. It'd be
ISIS is
just
coming
with the-
for you.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, speaking of crazy women, Bobby, you like crazy women?
You know it.
Well, you better move. You better move to freaking Iowa. Woman accused of lighting fire on porch after no answer at "quote unquote" friend's house. Okay, this woman, she was arrested because she took a bunch of items. She went to someone's house on the porch. She rang the bell at her friend's house. They did not answer. She sat on the porch. She had a cigarette. She waited a couple minutes. She rang the bell again. They did not answer. So she took the items that she found, which is like a tail light from a car and some paper and things like that, and just lit that shit on fire on the porch because they weren't home. That's what she did there. But they look into it. The footage. This woman, Michelle Young, 46, admits she did all that stuff. But the one thing they found out later was she doesn't know these people in that house. The people are like, we don't know who that lady is. We don't know why this is happening. We don't know why she sat there, smoked a cigarette, and did that. But she did say, well, I also didn't let you guys know I am a witch. And there was a sign on the porch that said, witches welcome. So therefore, I thought I was welcome to go in as a friendly witch to each other. And in witch customs, if you don't let me in or answer the door, I've got to light shit on fire on your porch.
Mm-hmm.
Young told police that she was walking around the area and picked up miscellaneous items, including a car's taillight, tin foil, bark, and a yellow lawn flag, which I hope didn't say "Don't tread on me." Like, I hope it wasn't that flag. But she said that she went to the home believing her friend lived there and knocked 3 times, as custom, but did not get a response. She said she sat in the porch chair, smoked a cigarette, and knocked again, according to police. That's the same way Tom Petty almost died, when he was sitting in the chair and then the cigarette went out and he almost died. When Young did not get an answer, she lit the items she had with her on fire. She also said there was a sign that said "Witch is welcome." She also put clothing into the fire, according to the affidavit. Young told police she was not going to hurt anyone or let the fire get out of control. Young got charged of reckless use of fire, explosives, destructive devices, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Yeah, surprise, surprise, she was on drugs. The homeowner told police she did not know Young. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it this woman for just staying with her customs? We just talked about ISIS. We talk about it is a religious week, Holy Week. People have their own customs and viewpoint. Just because we don't understand it doesn't mean it's wrong. In witch culture, when you go to another witch's house and they don't let you in, I guess you take a bunch of shit you found, like Sanford and Son, and you light that shit on fire, and then you wait right there for police to come. You don't run away, whatever. That's just how you find out. Like back in the day with the witch trials, where they're like, hey, you're a witch. Like, why am I a witch? It's like, because you didn't blow me. So you're a witch. They're like, how do you prove it? It's like, well, we're going to throw you in the lake. And if you get out of the lake, then you're obviously a witch. But if you drown and die, sorry. That's what they're doing. They're just keeping the old custom alive of like, are you a witch or not? Is it her? Is it the police for showing up and just charging her with those 2 things? There's a lot more going on than that. Maybe we should make up some charges. I know police do that anyway, but when a crazy bitch is walking around and able to basically MacGyver her way into a forest fire and build shit out of car lights and yellow flags and all this shit, should have been red flags. Am I right, ladies? Anyway, it's like, is it the police are doing that? Is it the people that are at the house that did not? Don't put up a sign that says witches welcome unless you want to welcome witches. If you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you don't put that. That's like people during the pandemic when they put up a sign that said Black Lives Matter, and then black people come to their house and say, hey, can you help us? Get the fuck out of here, and they hold a gun. Like, we're just doing this for the likes. We're just doing this for photo shoot. You're not a witch. If you were a witch, you'd know the custom, and you would have left better shit to light on fire. Like, I have knew where the fuck else they light on fire. Who's the people? Or is it anyone living in Iowa and thinking they're a witch? If you're a witch, you're not going to live in corn country. That's where they burn witches. They put them up there like scarecrows. Witches don't hang out there. They hang out like in the foresty areas, not out there. Who's the piece of shit in the story? Bobby, go first.
Okay. It's definitely the people who own that property that she lit on fire. You play witch games, you get witch results, right? You put a sign up, said witches welcome. She thought the way she had to prove she was a witch to get in your house was to perform a spell, and she made a forest fire. You know what I mean? That's not on her. She was just proving her skills to get into the party. Don't invite witches if you don't want them. Who wants witches around?
Me.
I don't get it. Why do you want witches? They're not good for you.
Which witch is not good? Some witches are good. The good witch, Glenda.
Mm-mm. They just
That's-
say
Ariana
they're
Grande's
good.
playing her. I wouldn't mind if Ariana Grande came to my house and lit shit on fire. That's fun.
Yeah, I saw Ariana Grande trying to juice a potato the other day. Bitch isn't smart. You
By
don't
the
want her
way,
to be. She's
yeah.
not a good witch.
Well, I think we're gonna save a whole special episode for that. But when I'm almost done with that documentary, I think we'll break into that very soon. But Beely, who's the piece of shit in this story?
I think it's definitely, this is an easy one. It's definitely the homeowners for, falsifying their love of witches. Clearly, that was some type of witch trap, some type of gotcha, because they clearly did not understand, the message left for them. It seems like the real witch in the story followed all protocols, did everything she was. She rang the doorbell twice, as is customary. It used to be a door knocker back in the 1800s, but, they've upgraded, technology. 2 doorbell rings. Of course, you have to light, your random finds on fire. As long as she set them up in a pentagrammal form, I mean, I don't see what the problem is there. And I'd really love to commend the police in this matter. A lot of people give the police shit. I think they're the true heroes in the story. We don't talk about that enough on POS. They're the heroes because they didn't charge her with witchcraft. They only charged her with the small fines, petty crimes, if you will. Instead of, throwing her in a fucking lake tied to a rock, as you mentioned earlier. So true fucking heroes there. And I'd
To
like
be
That's
fair,
a great point.
and I'm not gonna sit here and say I know the law, but I don't believe there is a witchcraft charge you can give. So I think they did the closest they could do to that. I don't believe anywhere in there is like, oh, witchcraftery? My bad.
as a
also
fellow New
trespassing.
Englander, your ignorance is offending me.
Right. No, it's
Actually,
not in there because
there's
it's
a-
legal. It's
No, actually, B's right. There's a major case happening where former guest of this show, Greg Billette, lives Hanover, Pennsylvania, where somebody was reading tarot and doing Wiccan, and now the police are harassing her and trying to get her to leave. It's a real thing.
they're harassing her trying to get her to leave, but they can't charge her with witchcraft because that's not a charge. They're
No.
doing whatever they can to get around it because if it was a regular charge, she'd already be in jail. But she'd escape because she's a fucking witch.
I think we need
Well-
to rewrite these laws then, make witchcraft illegal.
Technically,
And
we just need to adapt.
Make
ICE.
anal legal in Connecticut. It's not. Look it up. That's a real rule from the 1800s. If you wanted to really piss off somebody, you could. A lady could like, or a guy's like, can we have anal? And you're like, I don't really want to. And she's like, all right, fine. You could call the cops afterwards because it's illegal to have fucking sodomy in Connecticut. Now it's only like a misdemeanor. That was her name, the one he fucked in the ass, misdemeanor. But you can't. It's not illegal. Witchcraft is not illegal. It's not a charge. It's weird, but it's not a charge.
It's
You
cool
can be
that you
witches in a
pro-
parade.
You should
Yeah,
get
you
the
can more.
witch's welcome sign, clearly.
Right. Yeah. Maybe just whoever made witches, the same people that make coexist bumper stickers, fuck off. Stop making those. Stop making witches welcome signs. Stop wanting to be a witch. Stop being excited because the moon was up yesterday. Fuck yourself with the moon. The people are like, I don't know how today's going to go because my chakra's all fucked up. Get a personality. Grow the fuck up. Calm down. Why are people that like that stuff on a radio show I used to go on today, but I'm over here yelling at you people? Anyway, fuck witches. Fuck everybody who likes shit on fire.
Can we add in guys with pirate flags on their boats that also have 401ks and good credit scores?
No, because that's the new rapist. Pirates were rapists, and now guys with 401ks and boats are rapists. They're letting you know you're going to be limping back like pirates did.
Fair. I was not aware.
Yeah. There's laws. The laws of the international open water. Your butthole is open. We're here. Here's
By the
my
way-
flag.
Piracy is a law.
Yeah, piracy, but not piratey. There's no C in pirate, bitch. Except the 7 C's.
I was going to say, it's all about the sea.
It's all about the sea.
I'd like to address the witches are hot comment. I think that's Big Witch. I think Big Witch controls the media.
Yeah.
I think
it's
I think they
gross.
hire Ariana Grande to play a witch, but we all
They
know
spun it. Yeah, because
They
they
don't
witches used to
shave.
be decrepit and like warty, right? Like,
Green.
yeah.
Green's
Everybody was
not
like,
hot,
"Oh, that
ever.
witch," and yeah, somebody spun it at some point. It was like the Got Milk campaign for witches.
As drunk as you can get, if a bitch is green, you're not going home with her. Green is usually a send off. You know what I mean, Bobby? What? Bobby, you looked up like you had a problem with that.
What hue green are we talking here?
Like that deep green, like that wicked witch, that deep ass pea soup green.
I'd go
Yeah,
home with a girl this color.
If a woman looks like Monster Energy, are you bringing her home?
Is it Lindsay Lohan?
No, it's a fucking witch. It's witchy Lohan.
Does she look like Lindsay? Because then yeah.
No, she looks like a witch.
Then no.
Why would I say it looks like Lindsay Lohan? I would say, will you go home with Lindsay Lohan? This has nothing to do with Lindsay Lohan. Not Lohan's welcome. Witch is welcome.
Green Lohan. Like if it was the green is what I thought you were having an issue with. That is racist. I wouldn't fuck a green woman.
Green people aren't a race.
So I would just like to say, if they were green, I'm definitely doing it. Even witch or Lohan doesn't matter. That's what doggy style was invented for. But how often do you get to fuck someone that's green? Now, yellow, I might ask questions because it could just be jaundice.
Or Asians, you racist. Anyway, have you not seen cartoons? Or
I like how you called him the racist.
I know.
Yeah,
that was a fun flip.
Like, what are you talking about?
That was a real fun flip I got to do there. I like being ignorant. It's a good time. Yes, we all know about Bohemian Grove, but to be fair, those are mostly warlocks and not witches. And you know what, Bobby? We should have had Brandon on, our resident warlock, to talk about this. Maybe we'll have to dig back into that later on and see his take on that. Yeah, I don't think that the lady who's a witch is a piece of shit. I mean, obviously she's off her meds and needs help. It's whoever broke up with her. Because there was a guy dating this woman in Iowa. He wouldn't buy into her dumb little shit with the witches and all that thing, whatever. She started going on Facebook and looking for other witches community people that would support her in the breakup. Because the guy's like, the sex was good at first. She was crazy. Then she started lighting his taillights on fire and shit. He couldn't handle anymore. He said, "You're not welcome here." She goes, "Well, I'm going to go where I'm welcome." Where are you welcome? Where it says witches welcome. She starts making up customs and she can't help who she is. So it's not her. It's not the people that put up the witches welcome sign either. But they're trying to be silly and fun. How many times do you, like, people put up garden gnomes, they don't think other gnomes are going to show up at their house. You're like, it's so ridiculous. Like, Bobby, I've said this many times on the show in my whole life. When someone does something crazy, I always go, "Oh, what are you on, crack?" I've had people say to me, "Whoa, that's insensitive to people who do crack." And I'm like, that's nuts. That's nuts that you're going to think that. I say it because to me, it's so crazy because I don't do crack nor know people that do crack. I think it's crazy. So these people are like, yeah, witches aren't going to come to Iowa. We're saying they're welcome. What we're really saying is no one's welcome unless you're this thing that's fake. And then some bitch shows up and goes, "Guess who's real?" That's not, so it's not their fault. They didn't know it was going to be there. It's witches. Witches have the worst PR in the fucking world. They've never been a good time. They're not, nobody wants to be them for Halloween. If you think about like the top 4 monsters of all time, monster movie things, you got werewolf, you got fucking mummy, you got Frankenstein, you got Dracula. But who's been around just as long? Fucking witches. They aren't even cool enough. Even the witch women, monster women are less equal. They're like 70% of the pay, just like regular women, and they're not even worthy of it. So that's why these sad fat fucks say they're witches, because they're like, no one understands this anyway, so I hope I have magic powers. I hope the moon makes me strong. It makes my vagina bleed better. No, it's not going to. Fuck off, witches. Go away. You've had your time. No one cares anymore.
I'd like to say Pat's
at Comic-Con anymore.
Stop witch hate.
Pat's comments reflect on Pat, because I'm not trying to get fucking cursed.
Oh, it's not like the two guys who would say they'd bang a green woman. Fuck both of you.
Yeah,
they're fat.
We're fucking welcome.
They're fat as well. They're not going to be thin and green. They're fat and green. Well, they're not a good time.
Look, aliens aren't built the way we are. It's cool. I don't know why you got a kink shame.
Neither are dogs. It doesn't mean you start fucking them, dude.
Yeah,
dogs
but you're forgetting.
Yes.
So do fat and green chicks. So do fat and green chicks, which is why I'm in. You can treat them real poorly.
Mm-hmm. Can't see them. Fruits, that's why.
I had valuable points. I think that's valid because valuable points is the other game that I don't play.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna play that game with a green witch later.
What, Bobby? What if you trick a witch with that? You get extra points if there's any kind of like
Yeah.
sorcery or realm powers involved.
Pat, you don't trick a witch. That's
Okay.
how things end up poorly for you. Have you never seen that movie where the gypsy goes skinny and then the guy doesn't eat?
Oh,
Yeah, I have seen that fucking movie. It's not, or that one where the witch people are like, it was the sequel to like The Shining. It was like more shiny, whatever. Remember you ever watched that one where the lady's like, I got the power, she can make you go into your sleep and stuff, and she did all that shit too. You know what I'm
So
talking about?
I can honestly say I haven't seen The Shining 2. I apologize.
The Shining 2, still shining.
Shinier.
The shiniest wizard.
But then they did have their moment of fame when they got. Remember when Wicked came out and was like big? What would that have been like? 03?
Oh, it was a big as in like everybody liked it. I thought you meant like the movie Big. I'm like, Wicked was like big with Tom Hanks. I don't think that's how it worked.
They are making a Wicked movie coming out soon. So we're
No,
gonna have to
yeah.
deal with all
Oh,
those
th-
bullshit again.
oh, that movie, yeah, with Jennifer Hudson and Ariana Grande, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you said that. You're frozen, so I'm confused.
I know. I'm trying to fuck with that right now. So go ahead. We'll be working on that in a second. You guys just keep continuing. Bobby, do you have another story? Did everyone get in their piece of shit witch thing?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, then Bobby, you got a story?
I do have a story. Are you both familiar with the podcast, or I guess it's internet show Hot Ones?
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I've never watched it, but I know all about it. So it's like,
I
So
used to watch it
basically,
a lot.
okay, so you correct me if I'm wrong here, B, but this is what I've got in the summary. Is basically you eat progressively hotter hot wings, so it opens you up to being more honest in the interview. Like,
Yeah, so essentially, it's just the interviewer and the guest, who's normally famous in some fashion. The interviewer, actually, to his credit, does really good interviews, and like they ask really great questions like you wouldn't normally see. So it is a good interview show on top of the gimmick. But yeah, the gimmick is you start off with progressively hotter hot sauces, and then they get to like levels of like competitive insanity hot sauces, and so people are crying and puking. Some people take it like a G, but that's kind of the fun part of it. That's the gimmick, is like you get to see how these famous people do, kind of like how you're crying and coughing. They do the same thing, but with chicken wings
instead
or
of weed.
cauliflower if they're lame.
now can they
Well,
be high when they eat these things? Do they have to be sober? Do they? I don't know
Yeah,
what the rules are.
so like the rules are kind of like loose. Like some people have milk on there, some people
Okay.
have water or both. Some people bring beer on. Joey Diaz, I know you guys probably know who that is. Hopefully the
Yeah.
fans do. He brought on his own bottle of blue cheese, so like different people do different things like that. But essentially, the whole point is you take a bite of each wing. Some people will get extra credit, from the fans because they clean the whole fucking wing off. That's where, the deep dives come in, knowing the show. Like, so some people are notorious for like Coolio fucking like murdered it. Like, and then apparently he went into a coma in backstage after
oh
because he
shit.
was like so fucked up. But like, so there's all different little stories.
And
what was
like
it?
DJ Khaled tapped out
Khaled's
real
two
early.
wings, he's gone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Supposedly they wanted to have Kamala Harris do it as part of this election season, and her staff kind of intervened and were afraid, quote, she would lose her black card, end quote.
Oh,
She's not good at wings?
So Kamala, if you don't know, does a lot of things where she claims the black community, but does not act as one within that community would expect her to.
my favorite, Bobby, is when
Like she's always on time.
Oh, ouch! Mine's a real thing. She claimed to be listening to Snoop Dogg and Tupac before
Yep.
they were ever released.
She was like, that was my favorite in high school, and then it came out like 5 years after she graduated or whatever. Yeah, I remember that. So who's the piece of shit in this situation? Is it the staff for being like, no, black people handle their hot sauce better than Kamala? Is it Kamala for trying to like represent a community you're not? You know what I mean? I'm Italian American, but I didn't grow up in an Italian neighbor. You know what I mean? I don't lean into that. I wouldn't consider myself a paisan or something. You know what I mean? Is it the hot ones for trying to get a presidential candidate, like, or vice presidential candidate? You know what I mean? You're the hot wing show. What are we doing here? Is it Pat for leaving in the middle of his own show? We're gonna kick it to you first, because we don't really have any other choice.
Those are my favorite choices, and that's normally most of the choices in my relationship. I'm just the only one left.
Mine too,
Uh,
buddy.
but yeah, no, I think it's definitely Kamala. I think the answer is always Kamala when it's a proposed one. Um, but yeah, no, I definitely think it's she's a very fake person. As people that hear laughter, hopefully on a regular basis, that's what we aim for. We know what a fake laugh sounds like, and woo, man, she's got a hell of a fake laugh that she uses at really awkward times. So I propose that she is a witch, and we should stone her, but that's a different conversation. All back.
I like
But
that.
yeah, Kamala is definitely the piece of shit for sure. I think her staff is just looking out for her image. They're absolutely doing their fucking job. Like I said, the Hot Ones team and the interviewer do a great job. They ask like some real deep dive questions that throw people off all the time. They're like, "How the fuck did you find that out?" Kind of like well, not Norwal. What the fuck is Nazar? What the hell?
Narduar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nardwar.
I was
Him.
Nardwar. Yeah. I was watching him last night.
Same thing. Same thing. Norwal was stuck in my head from earlier, folks. But
The N word of the sea.
yeah, and where to the sea. But yeah, so very like, real deep probing questions that they don't normally get, that they haven't got before on an interview. So I think they would be really worried about that with her. Like if you can do a deep probe on like, some random, actor, or I say random, but like a lot of these people are famous, but actor, or, musician or whoever it is, it's really easy to dig up stuff on them. Everybody's already
Oh
trying,
yeah,
right? So like
absolutely.
they could ask questions that could throw her off so easy, and then the whole show is just her coughing out chicken wings with that crazy laugh,
It would
So
not be good for her, which
no,
is
and then
why
if she
I.
calloted it on top of it, like was out after
Oh
2 wings
God,
and then was trying to use ranch dressing or something. I mean, there's so many add-on snowballs.
it could cost Biden the election. It genuinely could have, which is I think why V was saying he would argue it's Kamala's staff saying no, because he just wanted to see her fake laugh, eat the hot wings, and DJ Khaled out, which would be fun to see. I think
I
there's
I would love to see it. Yeah, I'm pro her being on the show, but I definitely think she's the asshole for sure. I think her staff did the job that they were hired for. I think Hot Ones is doing what they're supposed to, get the highest level of people they can, and do what they've always done. They have a few spin-offs just like the US ISIS show. So, they're doing
I
pretty
like
well
that.
themselves.
I would, since Pat's not here, I'll give you what I would do. I think it's Hot Ones actually. They should propose that there should be a Hot Ones presidential debate. Like, if you can't handle the nuclear hot wings, you shouldn't be able to handle the nuclear codes.
Nuclear buttons. Yes, I like that, Bobby. You are a man I'd vote for. You
Oh,
are
thank you.
you are a proponent of positive change. Yes. No, I love that idea.
We,
President and vice president, whoever your candidate is, maybe that's part of it. Maybe you need to pick
two-man
someone
team.
that you can tag in for the next wing. Like, oh man, that last one got me. All right, Kamala, get in there. Like, no, like
Yeah,
she's like, I can't
it's
do
me and
it.
Joey Chestnut.
Yeah, he's like, this isn't, chocolate chip ice cream. Like, they'd be fucking light
Exactly.
out. But Trump's
And
like, I
Trump's
used
just
to
in
own
there.
a fucking wing joint, and he's like fucking finishing them.
Wings aren't even that hot. They're
Yeah,
not that hot. They're mild at best.
I make
I
the
have the best
hottest
wings
wings.
around.
Some say they are the best. I don't say this. Others say this. They say they're the best. They're the hottest. I don't say this, but I agree.
I'm not going to tell you which community likes wings, but that community in particular likes these wings.
I can tell you they are not from Hendersonville, South Carolina.
These are 100% chicken wings. No stingrays here.
Yeah, no stingray wing here, no cauliflower here. Chicken, just U.S. chicken. not Chinese chicken. No, no, no. You get that at a Chinese food restaurant. And where are those for? Chinatown.
Chinatown. B, while I text Matt and see if he's coming back, why don't you tell the people your dates real quick?
I actually am not getting booked enough, so I don't have anything coming up soon. I got a lot of stuff in the summer and spring coming up. It's really weird being a comedian. But yeah,
those ebbs and flows are the worst, aren't they?
yeah, it's like, honestly, when I had less experience, it felt easier to get booked. I don't. It's a
You're
weird
at that.
world.
How long have you been doing it? 10 years ish.
What's
I
that?
think that's what you said. Did you say 10 years last time we talked?
No.
Oh,
I
no.
I hit my 1 year last November.
Oh,
So
shit. Never mind. Other end of the spectrum.
yeah, but I did like the opposite of most. Like I tell everybody, like my first month I did 20 mics,
You
my
hit it
first
hard.
year.
Nice.
Yeah. My first year I hosted over 24 times. I did like over a dozen shows, I think. So it was like I got my numbers up there real quick. And then I'm just like fucking petering
Yeah.
out. Yeah,
And
no, I mean there's
you're
other
getting to the point where you need money for what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like it starts to be like
yes.
before where you would just take whatever, wherever. Now you start to have to consider and it starts to cost you a little bit in the long run.
Yeah, it's not just that. Like I took a weekend in New Hampshire and knew I was taking a loss on the weekend. I rented a room. I made it a weekend for my girlfriend and I. But I did it because it was 2 gigs in a row in New Hampshire. So I have no problem doing something like that. I have no problem not making money. But yeah, sometimes you got to like weigh out the options. It's like, I have other responsibilities now. When I was just doing comedy, because I had a year where I didn't work. I just did comedy. And so that made it so I could take everything, do anything. I could be the guy if somebody canceled, boom. Yeah, I got you, no problem.
That's sick.
Yeah. So I picked up a lot of my early hosting gigs that way. I would be the guy that was always there and like, hey, I heard so-and-so is sick. You need me to fill in, I have no problem doing that, because it's the only way you get stuff early on. And so, yeah, I did that a lot. I hosted a ton. And like I said, I still got a bunch of hosting gigs coming up and a couple of little spots here and there, but nothing coming up anytime soon. Hopefully you guys have me on again before then. I can go for my hat trick.
Oh, definitely. We'll definitely be having you back. You were a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was going to say,
I
feel like every time I'm on, there's always some kind of calamity.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there, but it's nice that we're getting to know each other like this. I will be at Baltimore this weekend with Berg, and then the following weekend I'm back with Earl. We got some spots around Central PA. Pat says he's here, but he can't get in, so we're just gonna keep rolling right along, and maybe we'll figure this out.
Roger.
The other big story in the news, I'm sure you've seen it, is Shohei Ohtani and his interpreter getting caught gambling. Have you followed that at all?
This is
no. Okay. All right. So big, you know who Ohtani is, the big baseball player from Japan. He hits and pitches. He's a modern day Babe Ruth. So basically, he signed the biggest contract ever with the Dodgers. And right before their first game, his interpreter comes in and goes, "Hey, got to tell you guys something. I owe $4.5 million in gambling debts, and Ohtani paid it for me, and it came out as part of this FBI raid." And everybody's saying, bullshit, the interpreter who makes $70,000 a year was given $4.5 million worth of credit. It's clearly Ohtani gambling on sports. And what are we going to do? If you keep him in the MLB, you kind of got to let Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. Like, they've kept him out because he gambled the whole time. Or do you get rid of the only thing people are really paying attention to? I'm 100% on board putting Pete Rose in. I've said it for years. He gambled on his own team. That's just confidence. That's not throwing sports. How about you, B?
I always thought keeping Rose out was like kind of messed up. I understood the premise of it, but I feel like they hammered it into hard. Like you said, he didn't really throw games. He was still playing, his heart out. As far as I know, he didn't throw games. It wasn't a White Sox situation where I believe they were throwing games, right? And
everybody but Shoeless Joe.
Yeah, so
Oh,
that's the
Pat, you
difference.
made it back just in time.
Hey,
Don't call me shoeless Joe. How fucking
he's sockless Pete. But yeah, so I think he's got to stop gambling. You know, they got on Gretzky's wife. You know, so like I'm pretty sure you shouldn't be gambling. You know, no, hit him with a fine. You know, just like everything else in sports. You know, if you
Yeah.
do it in touchdown dance now, it's like you got to put somebody's kid through college. So like it's do something like that. I'm fine with that. Hit him with a penalty. But yeah, clearly it seems like it's him or that other guy got like really good at gambling and then really, really bad.
Bad
One of
fast,
the two.
yeah. I could see that. I agree kind of with the punishment thing. It's like basically the rule in most sports now is you can hit your girl, just don't get it on camera, and we'll let you stay in the league. You know what I mean? Like as long as there isn't brutal evidence, like the Ray Rice elevator situation, you'll play again. But this guy
Mhm.
wants to gamble a little bit, and they haven't found any on baseball yet. It's only been like mainly soccer and others. So let the guy live his life. Pat, did you follow either of our two stories?
I know this one. So this one here, I know that one well. And it's not Otani. It's not Pete Rose. I don't know who you name, but anyone that ever got caught with gambling, who gives a fuck? You're playing one of the most ridiculous sports with too many rules anyway. If you can figure out how to gamble on fucking baseball, if you could try to fucking I had a buddy when Greg Maddux was the best pitcher in baseball. Okay, and my buddy I went to college with, he would every week whenever Maddux pitched, he would just bet on that, and he knew he wasn't ever going to win any money because Maddox's numbers were so small. But he knew it would just keep himself even to have that money sitting there to bet on other ridiculous things. Because baseball's so stupid, you could barely win on things anyway. If Otani, who by the way, an Asian, you give him a chance to do numbers and play baseball, two of their favorite things, they're gonna be good at it anyway. So you can't stop Asians from being Asians. You gotta embrace that shit. Who gives a fuck? What I think it is anyone that's put any rules outside of baseball rules on baseball. No one likes baseball anymore. I know they've made jokes about it. Let steroids happen again. Let people do heroin. Who gives a fuck? Get people. I would have one team just on crack, one team on heroin, one team just high. I would have all those things and just watch how they play and do different things. One team that just cheats. They're not always going to win because you got to learn how to cheat them. Who gives a fuck? At least someone's talking about baseball. Are they going to tell this guy to fuck off and get punished? Absolutely not. He's their guy. He's drawing numbers from Asia like fucking crazy. They're not going to turn that away. Pete Rose didn't draw them numbers. Pete Rose at that point, when he got drawn, he was a coach of the Reds at that time. If that was hustling Pete on the Big Red Machines, they wouldn't have said shit or given a fuck. They'd be like, you know what, blame Joe Morgan. He's black. That's what they would have done. They wouldn't have given a shit.
Pat wants
That's
to see
fair.
Hendersonville heroin stingrays come up in the league.
They need double A at best. That place can't hold a fucking system. Fuck them.
They said about an aquarium, and look at what they are now. For me, the piece of shit's MLB. They should do the Jordan rule here, where Otani says he wants to be like his dad, so he tries to play professional basketball for 2 seasons, and then they move him back in once everybody forgets.
You love doing that comparison all the time.
Oh, he was so bad at baseball.
He was the
He
worst.
played good baseball.
He was almost
I
as
want to
good
watch
as
a
he was.
Japanese guy play basketball.
No,
We
he
haven't had a
was
good
so
one.
bad at baseball that everybody forgot how good Bo Jackson was.
No one forgot.
That is.
No one forgot. He makes us
I
forget
wasn't
the way they
around.
make Barry Sanders makes us forget because they don't talk about it. But people my age, that's all you talk about. Like the greatest athlete of all time, Bo fucking Jackson. That's all you fucking talk about.
But yeah,
And some
now
people are like, what about Brian Jordan? Brian Jordan also played football and baseball. They're like, fuck Brian Jordan. He's not even the best Jordan. Go
he's
fuck
not
yourself.
even.
How
he's
about
not
Deion
even
Sanders?
Jordan.
Deion Sanders won World Series, and Deion Sanders was, if you could say numbers wise and Hall of Fame wise, a better football player on paper. He was a better football player than Bo Jackson, but on paper he was. And Deion Sanders said to Tim McCarver, "You're a stupid bitch," and sprayed his face with champagne when they won the World Series. And Tim McCarver got mad and ran away. One of the greatest celebrations of World Series ever. So, Bo Jackson,
I
all those guys.
remember none of that.
Otani is nothing because you're a child. I'm a man who remembers racism at its finest. Anyway,
I just have good
Otani,
skin. I'm damn near
once he starts
40.
playing basketball, then we'll put him in that conversation, Bob.
Fair enough. And how about the whole Kamala Harris not being able to do Hot Ones thing because she'd lose her black card?
I think that she shouldn't lose her black card. I think with the whole day and age where we're saying stereotypes are wrong, I want black people who can't eat wings. I want black people with small dicks. I want black people that are, with their families. I want Asian people that can't do math. I want white people that don't hit women. Like, we want to break all these stereotypes. We want them there. So she should have been allowed to be on there to prove to people that you can not hot wings just because your families, your ancestry came from one place, it doesn't mean you like Tabasco sauce. I don't know if you know this, where they originally came from, there was no Frank's Red Hot.
Because that's for pedophiles, and there's no pedophiles.
Yeah. Remember that deep cut for anyone that's still watching from 3 years ago?
You're welcome, Nader.
Yes, where she's from, they have
it's dumb to even say that she couldn't be on there because of whatever. I mean, that's not a real thing. That's obviously just people saying that speculation. And B. Lee, I know you've been on the show, and I don't know if you watch once in a while. Bobby does lie. So this feels like the one that Bobby would lie about the most. You take a black person people don't really like that much. You say a thing that you kind of can believe, but not really. So I do not believe anyone said she'd lose her black card because next to Joe Biden, she's the blackest motherfucker in the room.
Well, that's only because she voted for him.
She is him. He's been dead for 2 years. She's just running robots.
He walks around like he's on lean all the time. He's constantly eating sugary, sweet foods. He's probably got diabetes. You tell me which one's more black in that relationship.
Yeah, he's
boy's got a
named
son he doesn't
Pop.
acknowledge.
Yeah, you're right.
He's got a dog
son that just doesn't.
People.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
son kills people.
Crack. Yeah, this is.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah. He does have good credit, though.
It would be fun to watch him on Hot Ones fall asleep. Like right in the middle of it, he just wakes up, falls out of his chair, and goes, "That was spicy."
There's a certain
presidential assassination of our generation is he just suffocates in the hot wings.
Oh, I think you guys are seeing this all wrong. I think there's going to be a certain amount of heat where we get the old Biden back.
No, he snaps
gets
back.
just 30 seconds worth of sane. What the fuck am I doing? They're making me run again.
Hard.
Yep.
I think that's not given enough credit to him. I think he's the president who has said the N-word on camera the most.
On camera?
Yeah, on camera.
Yeah.
Yes. Microphone might be a different story.
Or just like in bed. I think Kennedy did that.
No, that would definitely be Obama.
Or Lincoln.
Jefferson.
This is how I free you. I yell it and you go.
I feel like we're back into witchcraft.
Yeah, Pat, you got another story? I kind of burned both of mine.
By the way, I do have one more story, and it has to do with more rules of things. Like we talked about witchcraft, is it illegal, legal, whatever, because rules back in the day and sodomy and stuff like that. Did you know that cheating on your spouse in New York is a crime?
As it goddamn should be.
It is. Adultery is illegal because since 1907, that law has been in effect. Most people don't play it. Most judges kind of like let it go. But you can't
penalty by
charge
death
someone who cheats on you with adultery. So if you're going through divorce proceedings, you can add that as a crime to it if that's the reason why. But finally, some people have stepped up and they may repeal this in New York. For more than a century, it's been a crime to cheat on your spouse in New York, but adultery may soon be legal in the Empire State thanks to bills working its way through the New York legislature, which is kind of funny that it has to go through the legislature, and all these guys who cheat on their wives, usually with other men, and they lie and say they're not gay. And they're like, yeah, maybe we should fucking pull that away. Which is punishable up to 3 months behind bars. If they really push it, you could go to jail for 3 fucking months if you cheat on your goddamn wife or husband. Adultery bans are still in the books in several states across the U.S. Through the charges, they're rare and convictions are even rarer. They were traditionally enacted to reduce the number of divorces at a time when a cheating spouse was the only way to secure a legal split. Adultery, a misdemeanor in New York since 1907, is defined in state code as when a person engages in sexual intercourse with another person at a time when he was a living spouse or the other person has a living spouse. I like how they say that, intercourse. Now, I guess before I move forward with the story, to both of you, does intercourse mean that something goes like anywhere or just enter one area?
Oh, and it's an orifice. If it goes into an
anywhere, so in the mouth, in the ear, if it's in, you're in.
I think we can even include hands. Feet might get a pass,
But
but
that's not
yeah,
intercourse. That's
thigh
just
and
touching.
hand
That's like a handshake.
on your cock.
Yeah.
For the context of this law, or just in general, are you asking?
What
'Cause,
you
like, for
think
this
it
law-
is. So but we'll get to the law, but what you both think when I say intercourse, if someone's having intercourse, you should say if you have intercourse, you're cheating. Do you automatically think, well, then I can get a blowjob or I can get a hand
No,
job?
I
no,
think
like
only
too much
Bill
eye
Clinton-
contact.
Yeah, only
Like,
Bill
Eye
Clinton
contact has
would
never
be
been part of
that.
the law ever.
Yeah, if my girl makes too much eye contact with another dude, I think she should be put to death. That's what we're talking about here, right? Sharia law.
Especially when she's fucking them.
Yeah, exactly.
ISIS
How dare you
plots.
make eye contact? Yeah. This is for the ISIS show. The ISIS shows up. They're like, don't worry about this one, Americans. We know how to handle the cheater.
Just a few weeks after this went into effect, a married man and a 25-year-old woman were the first people arrested under the new law after the man's wife sued for divorce.
As she should.
Imagine that you're some lady who just fucked a guy, you don't even know he's married, now you're going to jail.
Ask
With a mediocre 1907 no boner pills dick. That's all you're going for? And it definitely wasn't a black guy. It was 1907. She would have been hung and killed. Like, it was just some mediocre, sad white guy with a bad mustache and a bowler derby hat. Fucking dick. You don't want that. You don't go to jail for that. Only about a dozen people have been charged under New York's law since 1972, and of those, just 5 cases have netted convictions, according to Assemblyman Charlie Levine, who sponsored the bill to appeal the ban. The last adultery charge in New York appears to have been filed in 2010 against a woman who was caught engaging in a sex act in a public park, but was later dropping as part of a plea. Levine says it's time to throw out the law given that it's never been enforced and because prosecutors shouldn't be digging into what willing adults do behind closed doors. Who's the piece of shit in the story? Is it New York in 1907 saying, hey, 1906, everybody was fucking each other. We need a law. We got to stop this. Because something happened in 1906 where in 1907, they're like, yo, we need to get this in there. Everybody's fucking my wife. I am fucking tired of everybody fucking my wife. We need to have repercussions for fucking my wife. And even the judge was like, I fuck your wife. So let's just make it 3 months. We all fuck your wife. It's fine. Is it the guy now who's pushing to have it go away? He's saying, well, it gives other people a chance to dig at stuff. But why do you care about this? If you're barely ever convicting anyone, if no one even cares what's going on, obviously it's not coming up much. We don't ever really hear about it. So why do you care unless you want to cheat on your wife and you live in New York and you want to find a get away with it? Is it the first person ever to get arrested for it? It's kind of like when weed was decriminalized, but people still got arrested for it because they were doing dumb shit with the weed right away. And they're like, dude, there's a new law. Figure out what's going on. You should know. Maybe you're like, oh, I wanted to fuck you. I want to know what intercourse is, but there's actually laws against this thing here. Or is it people who bring this up in court and sue people for it? Yes, I know your marriage is over. Yes, you feel hurt and scorn, whatever. But now you're going to get lawyers involved. You're already doing divorce to say it's someone cheating. Because here's the problem. If you're going to do this, this is a law, and you don't get rid of this, I think before you just say, well, you cheated and that's a law, you should have to sit with that woman or man, whoever got cheated on, not the cheater or the cheatee, whoever got cheated on, and you should have to listen to them talk about their day for 10 minutes. And if you can handle it and not want to cheat on them after that, then yes, the guy's convicted. But if you're like, this bitch don't shut the fuck up, then you let it go. That should be the rules anyway. Who's the piece of shit? Be legal first.
I believe you guys have me back because my multitudes of expertise. What the crowd might not know is I was actually a championship competitive level mock trialer. So I have some reference to...
I thought you were going to be cheater. I have cheated more
I've
than any
actually
man.
never cheated in my life. So my position on this will surprise some. I have never cheated ever. It's kind of one of my things. I'm sticking to it. Still want to. Never going to do it. Kind of like heroin. But I know that the asshole in this, or the piece of shit, as you will, is definitely the guy trying to cancel this law. I mean, this law only helps people. You know, it keeps people from cheating that don't have the self-control that I have. This is much like the very similar law of Rhode Island that was changed about 10 years back or so. I can't recall, where it used to be legal to get a blowjob as long as it was conducted indoors. Or no, prostitution. I'm sorry, not a blowjob.
Right.
I'm being dyslexic. But you could conduct prostitution as long as it was behind closed doors.
That's the
And-
worst dyslexia ever.
Right? I was just
There's
like,
not
hi,
one letter right in that.
I'd like some prostitution. I mean, a blowjob. Your wife would get really mad. But yeah, so you used to be able to conduct prostitution indoors, and then somebody's angry wife found out, and they made it a misdemeanor. And now all these politicians and prostitutes are getting charges that they never got before. So I don't think that's fair. I think that was a very just law. As long as you're not fucking in the back of a Honda Civic in a parking lot, prostitution's okay. I think the same thing with this, I mean, you shouldn't be cheating. Why are you with them anyways? Just get a divorce or get a better prenup. But I mean, if you're not in some kind of open relationship and you are actively cheating, you fucked up, and go ahead, do 3 months and make my divorce easier. I think this is a way better law than it is a not good law. I think there's too many laws anyways, but who the fuck was this piece of shit to look up all these laws to find one to oppose?
Yeah, someone who was scorned.
Mm.
Bobby?
For me, the piece of shit's women. Because they do. Are you keeping another check in the book of Bobby blame women? I see that, Pat. But yeah, no, it's the cheaters. Just don't cheat. Have the balls to be like it's over. There shouldn't be a law against it, but it's kind of funny that there is. It'd be funny if you were like, yeah, my wife Lindsay Lohan's cheating on me, so either kill her or bring her to me.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do
Bobby,
that.
it's funny you bring that up because further in the article, when people are arguing, they say Catherine B. Silbaugh, a law professor at Boston University who co-authored the book, I'm sure you all read, A Guide to America's Sex Laws, said adultery bans were punitive measures aimed at women intended to discourage extramarital affairs that could throw a child's parentage into question. And she just goes, let's just put it this way, patriarchy. So yeah, it's to stop hoes from being hoes. And then women get mad when they're like, this is against us. Yeah, because you're the ones who are fucking. Men are dumb. Women aren't doing it. Two lesbos aren't going to fucking court and battling over this because there's no intercourse with scissors.
There'd be a fist fight.
You know what I mean? So
There'd
what
be
the fuck? Yeah.
There'd just be a brutal MMA match.
Well, I thought you said fist fight and you meant the other way. I'm like, that's the
Oh,
worst kind of
no.
fight. Oh,
I don't
so-
know. I'm pretty sure if you tongue punch a cunt, that's considered intercourse.
I don't think it is because of the way you said it so eloquently. Now, I don't. By the way,
Also, it's
that's-
punitive measures. Ugh.
That was actually the sentence my grandfather said to propose to my grandmother. It was like, he's like, oh,
Like
with this
tongue
ring,
punch.
ID punch. But yeah, Bobby, I was going to say the same thing. I wasn't going to say women. I was going to say sluts. And that can be men or women. But sluts are the problem here. The law was put in because sluts be sluts. If you're going to fucking cheat, don't. Just break up with that person, then fuck other people. You're fine with it. And they're not, I don't know if you know this, newsflash, when you cheat with someone else, that person's not going to be a good time later. A long time ago in my life, I was dating someone, we had broken up, but we still kind of stayed active, even though she started dating someone else. So we weren't in a relationship anymore, but we would hook up. And then she broke up with that guy and it's like, hey, I want to get back together with you. And I said, well, no, because you cheat. And I don't want to be with someone who cheats. She goes, but I cheated on him with you. I go, it's not about who was there. It's the principle. And if you're able to do it with me that well, then you can do it with anybody. And yes, I know like it's like a terrible man, but that's the truth there. Once one, always one. So just get the laws out. It's a morality issue. That's not a legal issue. We're getting into the fucking semantics of that. If you're getting married, you're just signing a paper saying like it's really for taxes and numbers. That it's not about if your marriage is happy. So why are we all of a sudden doing that? Oh, it's stress or whatever. I think if you cheat, keep the law if you want. But if you get cheated on, you should be allowed one cheat back. And for every time they cheated, you get one back. And if passed, and you have to keep that like a subway card, and you punch it and prove it. And if that guy does cheat one more time, and it adds on to too many, then he goes to jail for going above the number he's given, like 10 cheats in a month or something like that.
What?
Slut math. Slut math.
I got
Yeah.
it. There's so many problems with it. Like, how do you prove who's cheating? Conceptually, it's off.
Oh, there's problems? How do you prove they cheated in the first place, B. Lee? There's nobody, there's a stenographer watching this guy's dick? No, it's all speculation. It's all hearsay or hearsay. Fuck them. So if you're going to do it, go with slut math. Hashtag slut math. We've got this.
Slut.
I think
math.
I could solve your problem, which is I just get to inspect. Be like, oh, this is not how the vagina looked when it left the house.
Ew.
I like slut math. I feel like slut math is more like I took a shower after fucking the first guy, so technically it's the next day. Slut.
Yeah, you wrote that yourself.
I know. It's my name's on it. I got to start the movement somehow.
You're a slut.
Yeah.
But
math.
even cheating's better. Like, just outright cheating's better than the old, like, hey, let's be polyamorous, and then but only I'm gonna date other, and then you slowly watch somebody fall out of love with you while they're just trying out all of your replacements, and then you wake up every morning and put a gun in your mouth.
I disagree. I think cheating is always worse. I think if you're honest about it, at least there's no surprises. You're not like, oh my God, guess what I found out, Linda? Like,
yeah, but like that's just ripping the Band-Aid off, right? There's gonna be a lot of pain right away, whereas the other option is like you just slowly die on the inside. I don't know.
Bobby and Bealey, but I went off my little rant and both of you stopped and what the fuck, there's so much wrong with that. But neither one of you said this. Out of all the things I said, this is the problem, that subway cars don't exist. That was the issue in everything I said, that the inaccuracy of how we're getting bonuses. You understood the fucking reference. Whatever it is now, and yes, I do believe they probably still exist, but it's probably on your phone now. And you can punch it virtually. You probably don't have to get there with a little marker or the fucking dumb thing they used to do before. But in all the way, tongue punching does sound like some weird thing. You know, that slap fighting, that'd be a news thing on YouTube you watch where you put your tongue out and someone slaps the fuck out of your tongue. That could be that as well. You could take that name back. Hashtag tongue punching, hashtag slut math.
I think tongue punching cunt is a better, like, metal band name.
It's a great metal band name and a hard hashtag, because then you have to put the little asterisk or the little fucking, squiggly line, because you can't write the whole thing out in the thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So therefore, then you kind of ruins it. Yeah.
Mine's cunt spelled with a K. It's actually pronounced kunt. It's German. It means art or beautiful.
Well, actually, I don't know if you know this, but cunt is actually just words pushed together, a contraction. It's actually cunnot is what it actually means. But it's just easier to say cunt.
My thing's real too.
Your cunt?
Mine's
no. Kunt is German.
Kunt the kind.
I just call people cons. I just call people cons, and I go, "You don't believe in God."
My uncle and my cunt.
Sounds like you're saying conch, like like the shell.
Yeah. Oh, are we doing a scene from the newest version of Roadhouse? I don't know if either one of you saw that.
I actually watched
There's a whole terrible conch scene. It's just like the whole dialogue, brutal. But
I was surprised on how funny the movie was, like the comedic aspects of it. Like it was.
I thought they did a great job of the meta part, even with the word Roadhouse. At one point, the bad guy is being asked, "Wait, why do you need to destroy all this stuff?" And he goes, "I'm not going to tell you my plans." Just like all those. In other words, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Let's just continue. But yeah, don't. If you same way with Wonka. If you're going to watch new Roadhouse and compare it to old Roadhouse, you're an idiot. They had to change it up. They did different things. Was Conor McGregor the worst actor I've ever seen? Of course. But did you expect him to be good? No, you didn't.
No, I actually thought he was better than I expected. I thought he was going to be way worse. I thought as far as like a comedic villain that was a meathead, he did okay. Like I didn't think he was like getting any awards, but for what the movie was, I thought he was actually impressive. Like I thought he was going to suck compared to what he did.
I thought he did suck. I thought they didn't even need him. You could have done it with the bad guys that they had.
You could have definitely used someone else.
But whatever. Right. Or just use nothing. You could have had the main little bad guy and whatever. That was fine. But whatever. It was a fun little dumb movie. Bobby, you didn't see Roadhouse, right?
Not the new one.
No. It's goofy. It's about a half hour too long. but it was fun. The problem is they tried to build up characters at the beginning, and then they realized they were running out of time, so they just fucking rushed through the whole fucking plot. And you didn't. The one thing I'm not spoiling for anybody. The reason why this guy, and I don't spoil it for anybody, but like the reason why this guy is like going after people is way worse and stupider than why Dalton from the original one, because he lost, so many people in his life, and they brought a loved one involved. That was the guy who taught him everything, and when that person was taken away, he needed this. This other guy, the reason is so fucking stupid that you don't care, and there's nobody you care about losing. You know what I mean?
I think this one, it was a little more psychotic. Like, he was
not a little. It was fucking wet.
I'm trying not to ruin the movie, but I'm just like,
I was saying, but at the end of it, Bobby, if at the end of this movie, if he left and then went to someone's porch and lit it on fire because witches were welcome, you would believe it. Like that was the level at the end where you're like, the fuck happened here at Roadhouse? Yeah, a little fucking crazy.
As he buttons up his shirt.
Yes, you should, because it's not a remake. It's the modern take on it. So they didn't go thing for thing. But if you did like the old one, and the old one, by the way, is fun, but it's not a good movie in any way. So when people say like, oh, it's not like that, no one thought that was a great masterpiece work. It was shitty, but it was silly and dumb, and it's aged well because we look at it and go, it's so crazy.
Story of Dalton, the fastest closer in the West? Are you kidding me?
Right. Well, that part, all that is kind of changed and different, but like, I'm not going to ruin that thing. But if you like little tributes to things, like the reason why it's called a Roadhouse, there was funny lines in that. Yeah. The fact that my one thing I needed to have happen was there somebody playing music behind a chicken wire and people firing bottles at them? Yep. Yes, sir. And they did it more in this one than they did in the other one. So they paid tributes to things. So without a doubt.
I will say this as a fan of like earlier stuff. And so like Red Dawn. I will never recommend the sequel. I thought it was trash. I thought it was garbage. Yeah. I thought the spins they did were terrible, and it just didn't make for a better movie. So, like, I think Red Dawn was terrible. I think, as Pat was saying, to his credit, this is a completely different movie than the first Roadhouse. I think what they did is they modernized it in ways they needed to. He was a UFC guy in this one. It made a lot of sense. That's what it would be now, So a lot of the things they did made sense. I think it's a great movie to watch if you just don't pay attention to the fact that there is another movie called Roadhouse.
No, I think I'm on board with you 90%. That last part, no. I think what this does is, if you haven't seen the old one, now this makes you go watch that one for comparisons. But if you have seen it, I do want to go back now and watch the old one to go, oh, I remember this, and then you compare it again. I might end up watching both of these twice just for the stupid comparisons. And this movie got so many views this fucking weekend. Like, a great job, but for people that didn't want to watch March Madness or things going on, I watched a lot, especially women. A lot of women were like, and I saw one woman post on my Facebook. She made a great point. She goes, I don't care what it is. This was Magic Mike with UFC. Like, that's all it was. It was caught hot dudes fighting with shit dialogue. She goes, who gives a fuck what they're talking about? Did you see Gyllenhaal's fucking cum gutter? That thing was crazy.
My girlfriend was making comments about how he broke Taylor Swift's heart and made like her best song. Like, yeah. So there was definitely things for the ladies in it. Like, yeah. It definitely was watchable. And to your point about watching the original, I watched it on Prime. I don't know what you watched it on. I assume the same, but Prime. It suggested to watch the original right after. It was just way too late. I almost
right underneath.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was like 12:30 when I finished it, and I was like, I'm not doing another hour and a half, 2 hours right now, But I think I'm going to do the same thing. Go back.
And then in my comments too, somebody did, because people were saying, "Oh, Dalton this, Dalton." And someone's like, "Oh my God, it's not. If it's not the same movie, why did they call him Dalton?" Well, fucker, his last name was Dalton in this. The other guy's first name was Dalton. So it just happened. It was spelt different. It just happened to be the name so they can keep it going. So it was, Bobby, I would say if you got high and watched it, you wouldn't be mad at it. It'd be silly. We'd probably have some jokes to make fun of it. And you would have the right attitude for that kind of movie. You're not looking for anything crazy. But it wasn't, to be honest, I didn't really like it, but they took different angles and chances with all the fight scenes. Everything had a different kind of new special effect or change. It was very video game-like. It was a little over the top, but you kind of needed it in this movie that's over the top.
It was filmed more like that Sherlock Holmes fight style. Like, not where they pause it, but, that same, like, they took the angles of, like, the guy getting punched, getting hit, that kind of stuff,
And it had the Fast and Furious feel. For some reason, you're like, do they have powers? Why do they have powers? Like, why are they this strong?
Did he just fall out of an airplane?
That was the least of their worries. There was some shit where everyone should have died, and then things where they shouldn't have died, they died. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. There was definitely a couple of moments for sure.
Yeah. So,
well, I know what I'm doing with my.
I'm happy we can recommend. Bobby, if you'll check it out, we can do a whole discussion on Roadhouse for no fucking reason because we are the gayest show in the morning.
Well, I'm gay for you guys, so I'm happy to.
Well, and where can people find you being gay? Please tell them.
I am, because I am special needs myself. I have the IEP to prove it. I made it easy for everyone. So at Be Funny everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, fucking Gmail. You can find me at Be Funny. Book me, pay me. I need money. I tell jokes for money sometimes, but you can watch me here too.
Nice. Bobby.
Follow me at Bobby Tamburo. Thank you so much. We are one of the best shows in the morning, V. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'll be in Baltimore this weekend and with Earl the following. Phoenix in April, Minnesota at some point. So lots of fun stuff headed your way. Pat?
I will be this week. I'm on 95.9 The Fox. So if you're in Fairfield County in Connecticut, you can hear that. If not, you can stream it or you can put it on their app, 95.9 The Fox, and hear me from 2 to 7 playing a bunch of music. We'll have giveaways this week. I forget which concert it's for, but we'll have those at 4 o'clock. So check that out from 2 to 7. Also, please subscribe and like and all things you've been doing. Starting this week, at least one of these episodes a week will not stay after it's live here. It will go over to the Patreon. So if you want to be able to watch replays and missed it, get yourself on over to the Patreon, subscribe there. We appreciate, or you can donate to us in Venmo. We appreciate everyone that's been doing that. For everyone that hung with us this morning, for Terry and V and Aaron and everybody else and Dominic, all the greats, everyone else that was watching today, thank you so much. B. Lee, thank you so much for joining us. Bobby.
Remember, nothing is impossible. Even the word itself says, I'm possible. And don't be.